Hi yogis, my name's Bonnie. For those of you that haven't taken class or practice with me, this is a really sort of odd and stressful time. So we've had a few requests from our lovely students who we miss dearly to run through a few yin classes. We all have different amounts of time. So this one's gonna be a little bit shorter than normal. This is gonna be a 30-minute practice. Before we begin, if you're unfamiliar with yin, you are working to about 40% of effort, and then you're supporting yourself with props. So the props that I will be using, since all of us are at home and we don't have bolsters and all of that fun stuff, if you do, you can grab those. But if you don't, I'm using 2 pillows and a blanket. You can have as many of these things as you wish, especially if you're a little bit on the tighter side, or maybe you're doing this practice first thing in the morning and you haven't quite kind of warmed the body. So blanket, I'm using 2 pillows. You can add more, you can take more away. In my yin practice, I do like to offer more restorative variations of the pose as well. And essentially that just means that you're adding more support and more props as you move into each pose. Give yourself some time to get into the pose. Take a few rounds of breath, relax. So again, you're working to about 40%. You want to feel some sensation in the pose, unless you're doing the restorative version. But if you're sticking with more traditional yin, you want to feel some sensation, but not so much sensation that is all you are focused on the whole time. So you're working to your 40%, whatever that is for you. And that's kind of the great thing about working at home, is that you are not going to be seeing anybody else. You're not going to compare yourself to anybody else. So work to your 40%, support yourself, and then we're going to hold for time. I like to practice with my eyes closed, but if that's uncomfortable for you, just soften your gaze. Okay. So the first, in a regular 60-minute yin, we would do seated meditation, but because this is a shorter practice, we're gonna do some breath work in our first pose. So our first pose is going to be a supported Shavasana. So you're gonna take 1 or 2 of your pillows. This will go under your knees. If you'd like to support your head with your second pillow, you can always support your head. I'm gonna set my other pillow off to the side, and then I'm gonna come onto my back. My legs will go over the pillow. And then you're just gonna adjust as high as you like. So obviously the higher your pillow, the higher your knees are going to be. And then from here, just go ahead and recline back. I'm gonna get my timer going so we are totally on here. Okay. We want everything to be even as we work through this. So go ahead and lie back, again with legs supported. And then just allow yourself to be heavy on your mat. So for breath work today, we're gonna work something called 3-part breath. And I really like this breath because you're working control of your breath. It isn't so much about filling all the way to the top. It is about guiding your breath into 3 parts of your body. So you're not filling to the max, you're just controlling where the breath is going, and then you're controlling the exhale in the same length as your inhale, okay? So bring one hand heart or chest, and then your second hand is gonna go kind of towards the bottom of the ribs so you can feel your belly and you can feel the ribs. Take a few rounds of breath, close your eyes, just feel yourself in your space. Take one more round of breath on your own. At the end of your exhale, draw your belly button in towards your spine. Press all of your air out of your body. And then imagine that space right behind your heart. Start to inhale behind your heart. And then guide your breath down into your ribs. And then all the way down into your belly. And then bringing awareness back up to your heart. Slowly exhale behind your heart first. Exhale the ribs. Exhale into the belly. And then again, at the very end of your exhale, you're pressing your belly button down towards the spine, pressing all of your breath out. And then inhale right behind your heart. Feel your ribs rise up as they inhale. Inhale down into your belly. And then again, working back from the top, exhaling behind the heart. Exhaling the ribs. Exhaling belly. Belly button to spine. Inhale, lift your heart. Fill into the ribs. Fill into the belly. Exhale, heart, ribs, belly, and then belly button to spine. We'll take 2 more of those. Inhale, heart, ribs, belly. Exhale, heart, ribs, stomach, belly button to spine at the very end. Inhale, last time, right behind the heart. Feel the ribs expand out as you take the breath there. And then all the way down into the belly. Exhale behind your heart. Exhale, feel the ribs draw in. Exhale through the belly. And then finish belly button to spine. And then from here, just find a nice soothing breath. Let your arms be heavy at your side. Feel out your space. Feel where you're supported. Feeling that lift behind the knees. Then take 2 more rounds of breath on your own. Slowly start to draw your knees into your chest. As the knees come up, maybe draw your pillow in towards your bottom, and then you just grab the pillow with your hands and slide the pillow aside. Knees come into your chest, and then just find a little bit of movement side to side. Bring your left arm out to the side. We're going to take a supine twist here. So we're going to work knees to the left. We're going to keep our knees together, but you're going to curl all the way onto your left side just to begin, just to get the alignment. So try to find hips and shoulders in the same line. And then I'm going to grab one of my pillows and I'm going to slide it right up along my spine, taking it all the way up between the shoulders. And then I'm going to slowly start to open up my right arm to the side. You can let the arm hang out if you have a trusty steed here. You can use what you've got. You can also add another pillow right next to that one so the arm is fully supported. Or you can bend your arm, hand down the pillow. Now, if you're tight, there's lots of options you can do with your legs. I want you to start with your hips and knees in the same line. But you can always slide a pillow between your knees for support, or you can lift both knees, keeping them together, and then sliding a pillow underneath here. Okay? And there's lots of options in between, and if having something along your spine is too restorative and you're not feeling enough sensation, simply slide it away. Okay? Once you have everything positioned, close your eyes, find your breath, and allow it to be a natural breath. So don't change the pattern of how you would regularly breathe. And then as we're holding this pose, if you feel like your mind is wandering to other things, things that you feel like you need to be doing instead of taking time for yourself, come back to your breath. And don't worry about how many times you have to start over again. It's perfectly normal. Your mind is going to wander, so just acknowledge that it's wandering and go, okay, I'm starting over. I'm coming right back to my breath. And then take a few rounds, feel yourself relax again, feel the pose. So for most of these poses, I will be silent after we've gotten into it. It might feel a little bit awkward to lay here in silence if this is your first go at yin, but just use this time again to relax. Allow it to be a nice mental break for you. If at any time while you're holding these poses as we move through practice, if there's something that needs to be adjusted, you start to feel too much sensation, or your body starts to open up and you want to move a little bit deeper into your pose, move props out of the way, add props in, pillows, blankets, whatever you have near you, and then come right back into your stillness, come right back into your breath. Take 2 more slow rounds of breath. If you have props underneath your knees, between your knees, gently set those aside. And then take your right hand, gently slide the pillow off your spine. Watch out for any furry friends. away. And then come all the way back to the middle of your mat. So untwist hips and shoulders, spine along the mat, and then gently bring your knees into your chest, and then just find some movement here. It can be anything that feels good for you. I'll throw out some options as we move between poses, but if there's something that's more organic that you need between each pose, feel free to move into it. Okay. So because we have the hips closed, if you want to open up a little bit, you can take a happy baby, rocking side to side. Since the legs were bent, maybe you're taking the legs up. You can pedal the feet out a little bit. Roll out wrists, ankles, rock your head from side to side, whatever you need. Okay. And then gently guide your knees back into your chest. We're gonna shift the hips to the left slightly and then come all the way onto the right side. So right arm supports your head as you curl onto the right side. From here, you'll grab 1 or 2 pillows. Again, you're bringing it right up along the spine if you're using it between. Grab your secondary pillow, bolster. Again, maybe you're supporting underneath the knees. Try to start with knees and hips in the same line. If they drop a little bit, it's okay because we're working with knees together. If we were working one leg at a time, I would say keep the top leg and hip and knee and hip in the same line. Okay, but we have both knees together, so you can draw them a little bit closer or set them back a little bit more. And then once your legs are supported, slowly start to open that left arm up, coming into your twist. You can extend arms wide. Again, you can bend the back arm so it's on your pillow. Take a few rounds of breath. Once you're settled in, make any little minor adjustments. Again, if you're feeling a lot of pull on that top hip, add more support underneath the bottom leg or between the knees, or both. Okay. And then again, close your eyes. Take a few rounds of breath. Allow yourself to settle in. Find your space. And always be mindful that each side, when you're doing something on each side will feel a little bit different. So this side may be tighter and it may need more support, or maybe this is a more open side and you're taking things away. But feel it out in your own body. Again, we're working to about 40%. That's a different range for all of us. So really pay attention to what your body is asking for in these poses. If you feel your mind starting to wander, again, come back to your breath. And if you find that focusing on breath is too difficult or it makes you anxious, maybe focusing on your breath, you actually find that you're changing the pattern of your breath, take it to a sensation within your body or find an external sound that you can focus your mind onto. Take 2 slow rounds of breath. And then gently blinking your eyes open, removing any supports that you have for your legs, and then moving anything away from the spine if you have anything supporting spine and shoulders. And then untwist, come back to the middle, readjust your hips, knees in, and then any movement here. It can be circling your knees in both directions, gently rocking from side to side. Again, maybe another happy baby, legs up, a straddle. And then bringing your right arm back up, curl back onto your right side. Take a round of breath. And then using your left hand, gently press yourself up to a seat. So we're going to come into child's pose from here. For some of us, this can be quite intense in the hips, so adjust how wide your knees are. I like to have my knees a little bit closer, but if your hips are nice and open, you can take your knees wider. For this variation of child's pose, I really like to have my 2 pillows. But again, if you're a little bit more open than I am, your hips are a little bit more flexible, then you can reduce how many pillows or whatever it is you're using here, okay? The other thing that I like to do in my child's pose is I like to use my blanket between my calves and the back of my legs. So I just come up onto my shins, tuck the blanket behind the knees, take my knees out, and then I'm just gonna slide my pillows in and fold over. You can hug the pillows in, and again, as you come into this pose, you may find that you don't need as much support, or maybe you need more. If you need more and you have a coffee table nearby, you can also put something on your coffee table, or you can stack your hands on top of your coffee table or a chair that's nearby, and you can use those for support as well. And then again, just as we did in our supine twist, once you feel settled with your support, your pose, take a few rounds of breath, close your eyes, settle in. So because we all have different varying degrees of hip mobility, you may be feeling this
in a variety of places. It could be the inside of your legs and your hips. It could be the outside. It could be lower back. And as long as you're not feeling sharp pain, if it's just sort of a stretch feeling, again, stay with it or add or take away, depending on the intensity that you're feeling. Take one more round of breath. And then slowly pressing hands down into your mat.
Lift yourself away from your pillows or whatever's under your chest. Slide it away. And then coming up onto all fours, move your blanket out of the way. And then just find some movement here. It can be shoulders to hips. It can be a few rounds of cat-cow. Maybe you want to walk your hands forward, take an anahata or puppy pose, as it's called in yin. Okay. When you're ready, we're going to move into supported fish pose. So this one I do like to use 2 pillows for. We'll put one pillow across, and then you're going to take your second pillow, lay it lengthwise this way right over the top. If you want a little bit more lift in your chest, something that you could do so it's a little bit more of a heart opener, instead of using a pillow, if you do have a block or maybe sort of a tight blanket and you want to roll that up, you can do more of a chest opener. This version's slightly more restorative. I just think it feels really nice, especially at the end of practice. Okay, so once you have your pillows stacked, this long pillow will come to your lower back and you're just going to recline. You have a few options with your arms. So this is meant as a heart opener, chest opener. So if you want to continue on with that, you can cactus your arms so that second pillow will help support. You can also grab opposite elbows over your head. You can keep the legs long, as that's more of a traditional variation. Again, you can tuck a rolled up blanket underneath your knees for a little bit more support. Or if you'd like to continue on with the hip opening, since we did a little bit of hip opening with our child's pose, you can bring your feet into a butterfly variation. Okay. If you are working with your arms up over your head and at any point during the pose you start to feel tingling in your fingers, simply bring your hands down, either rest them on your belly or bring them down by your side. Once you have found the depth of your pose, come back to your breath. Allow yourself to settle in. Let your feet fall out if the legs are long. And then just allow your face to relax. Come back to your breath. Remember to come back to your breath if you feel your mind wandering, if you're feeling fidgety. Focus on your breath, and it doesn't have to be the physical sensation of your breath. It could be the texture of your breath. It could be the temperature of your breath. So it doesn't have to be just the pace or the actual feeling. It could be something related to breath. Take 2 more rounds of breath. If you're doing a variation with your arms, release your hands by your hips and then slowly press yourself up to a seat. Okay. From here, before we move into our final pose of Shavasana, if you'd like to do any counter poses, because that was more of a heart opener, if you want to take a quick forward fold, you can fold forward. Maybe you want to do a seated twist. Anything else that maybe would feel good in your body before you recline onto your back. So as you're taking your movement here before we get into Shavasana, so think about how you would like to be supported in your Shavasana. I like to support my knees, and I also like to support my head. Make sure that if you're supporting your head, you still have that space in your neck to breathe. Okay, and if you want to go unsupported and you want to just feel the weight of your body on your mat, head that direction as well. Okay. So when you're ready, you'll get yourself set up for Shavasana. Lay back. And then close your eyes. Feel the weight of your body on your mat. Feel your fingers gently curling back in towards your palms. Feel your shoulders relax back into the mat as you find a slight tilt of your chin up to the sky. And then one more, relaxing shoulders back into the mat. And then allowing everything else to be soft and heavy, allowing the belly to be soft, allowing your feet to turn out slightly. And then just let go. For some of us, this could be the hardest pose. You're not moving, you're not really doing anything. You're just supposed to relax and sort of be with yourself. And for some of us, that can be a huge challenge, almost more challenging than any other pose in the practice. But this is the time when you can really take stock, feel your body out, allow it to relax, allow it to feel heavy. We don't spend a lot of time in our lives doing things like this, so it's extremely beneficial. If you're feeling comfortable and you want to stay longer in your Shavasana, continue to breathe, relax, and be soft. If you have things that you need to get to, start to bring a little bit of movement back into your body, finding movement in your fingers and your toes. Allow your head to gently rock from side to side. And then gently reach your arms long over your head, taking a long body stretch, reaching through your toes, feeling the belly stretch, reaching through the fingertips. And then either staying here, enjoying that stretch a little bit longer, or start to gather your knees in towards your chest and roll to your favorite side, supporting your head with your arm. And then wherever you're at, 2 more slow, deep rounds of breath. Using your top hand to support you, gently press yourself to a seat with your eyes closed. As you come into your seat, gently guide your shoulders over your hips. Feel the support of your body, your spine, your ribs holding you up. Bring your hands together in prayer. And then just for a moment, take all of that stillness that you just worked up, that you just provided for yourself. And then whatever you step into as you leave your mat or your place of practice, try and take that sense of calm and quiet with you as you move into your next activity. We'll take one last round of cleansing breath together. Take a slow inhale through your nose. And then open your mouth, gently let it go. Slide your thumbs up to your forehead. Namaste. Thank you, yogis. Thank you for practicing with me. I miss all of you terribly. This has been sort of an odd, strange experience, I know, for all of us. We'll try and add a few more yin practices in. You can do yin any time of the day. Typically you would do it before a more active yang practice, but kind of whenever you can fit it in. So again, thank you so much for practicing with me, and I will see you next time. Thanks, you guys.